few years ago, I opened a small photography shop on a street corner. Although the business was not very crowded, it also brought me a stable source of income. Every morning, I brought new photos, taking to hang outside the store to advertise and attract customers. However, the following days I sat at the counter, yawned, and waited for customers, but still, no one came. One weekend, the doorbell at my shop rang. That was the first customer who came to my shop to take pictures after a sluggish week. I looked at her. It was a young woman with a slim figure, and her face was also very pretty. I asked how the photo shoot was that she needed. This young woman was in no hurry to answer. Her slightly sad face looked at me, mixed with a little awkwardness that made me curious. I invited her to follow me deep into the set to briefly refer to the scenes and choose the right photography style. What surprised me the most was the decisive and cold answer of the female customer. She said she wanted me to take her photo like a worship photo. I looked at her in surprise, not sure if I heard wrong or not. Because if she was young, taking pictures of worship so early was an omen of bad luck and taboo that no one dared to do. I hesitated at first, hoping she would change her mind, but this girl was very determined. She really wanted me to take a worship photo. To please the customer, I reluctantly took her inside. As I walked, a strange idea flashed in my mind based on the suggestion of this female customer. I could open a deaf experience photography service. It sounded a bit weird, but it was also suitable for young people. But that eccentric thought was quickly forgotten when this female client and I went to the portrait picture room for the elderly. There was only one small chair in the middle of the room, and around many large light catch lamps. I invited this female customer inside and sat on the chair to prepare to take pictures. I purposefully avoided taboo by telling her to sit in front of the white font, like taking a card photo. But she refused and said she wanted to be photographed in the original form according to a standard worship photo. Knowing that I could not persuade the strange female customer, I immediately followed her advice. I brought the small chair to the blue background at the back of the room and prepared my camera to start shooting. I tried to focus, and my eyes fixed on the small lens. This girl's face showed tension, nervousness, and sadness inexplicably. To relieve her tension, I gently told this girl to smile, but it didn't work. Her expression remained as gloomy as when she first entered my photography shop. I helped her take a few more pictures so she could choose the best one. I guess she was overly stressed about the photo shoot, so I tried to reassure her. After more than half an hour of simple photography, the shoot was finally over. I quickly informed this female customer and asked her to come back here the next day to receive pictures. Her photo would be finished by about the following noon. She softly uttered 2 words, "Thank you," and then gave me a gentle smile. It was the only smile on a beautiful face since the morning. I carefully sent her out. I walked close to her so I could feel the cold emanating from her pale, slender body. She didn't say goodbye to me but just looked straight ahead and gently walked out. Her enigmatic silence puzzled me greatly. That night I remembered the returning photos appointment for the only female customer this morning, so I worked on the pictures until the middle of the night. But strangely enough, the pictures taken of the girl in the morning were all wrong. I tried to hold the photo in my hand, shined it under the lamp and looked closely, but could not find any clues to what damaged them. All photos taken of this girl were blurred, not clear, and out of focus. Although, when I took the photo, I focused very carefully. I guess the problem was most likely in the reels that I shot, but no matter how much I searched, I found this reel to be perfectly normal and without any problems. That made me feel even more strange when I looked at the photo of the female customer in the morning. To fix it, I had to take a photo again, but that was completely impossible. I scratched my head awkwardly, trying to figure out how to explain when I had to give her pictures tomorrow. The next day she showed up on time. She was still wearing yesterday's red dress, but her face looked haggard and sharper. When the girl just came in front of me, I saw some dark bruises on her already beautiful face, which made me even more curious about the real life of this mysterious girl. She quickly asked me about the photo. Before the impatience to receive her photo, I felt extremely awkward and guilty. I didn't know how to explain it to her. The two of us fell into deep thought, unable to say another word. The girl always stared at me with expectant eyes, and I stayed silent. I slowly walked to the place that kept her pictures. My eyes couldn't leave her for even a second. Then I took the photo and put it on the table, mouth faltering. I tried to explain to her that there was a problem in the process of editing her picture, so I asked her if she could take another picture or not. She did not rush to answer my request, just calmly staring at the photo with sad eyes. The most amazing thing was that she didn't blame me for my skills, nor did she ask me to take a picture again. She said I framed it for her picture. I was happy to do that, immediately negotiating the frame size. After making sure this girl asked me to take the picture from back to her house, and she would give me the money. Her offer to me was not too difficult, so I readily accepted. After doing as she said, I followed her home. She gently walked ahead, and I calmly bought the picture frame behind. She took me through quite a distance, even crossing the highway, which made me a little surprised and confused. After a while, the two of us exited the main road and went to the edge of the forest. At that time, I felt a bit weird. I suspected this girl had bad intentions, so I raised my voice. Faced with my suspicions, she looked very calm. She reassured me, saying that her house was only a few hundred meters away. I agreed to follow her for a shorter distance. Arriving at an empty lot, she pointed to a large mound of dirt on the side of the road and told me to put a picture frame on it. I was surprised, thinking that she was joking with me, so I kept asking her again to verify if there were any houses in this deserted place. But the answer I got from her was always denial. This strange girl insisted that her house was on that mound and told me to put the picture on there for her. I seemed to have run out of patience. A whole day of walking was exhausting and it took no time to look after the shop, so I got angry and rushed to grab her shoulders. Only then did I feel the strangeness of this female client's body. As soon as I touched her, her flesh immediately seemed to cling to my hand and disintegrate. I was startled. I pulled my hand back to take a look and saw that the flesh on her shoulder was clinging to my hands. I shivered, slowly raising my eyes to look at the strange girl in front of me. That's right. The place where my hand was placed appeared a large hole as if it was gangrene. I gently stepped back, unable to fully articulate the identity verification question I wanted to ask her. When she saw my panic, she burst into tears and complained that her whole body was itchy and uncomfortable. But no matter where she scratched, I could hear the flesh falling right there. Her whole body was now white, her eyes were lifeless and crazy, her whole body gave off a foul smell like a corpse. After that, everywhere her fingers went, a row of tender, sagging meat looked horrible. I realized this customer was a ghost, so I screamed and ran away. I followed the trail and found my way out of the jungle. I ran to the police station to report this customer's story, and from there I also found a lot of information. As it turned out, she was a female student at a famous university in the city. It was also located near my photography shop. We went to her dorm and learned that her friends hadn't seen her for a few months. The police immediately contacted the family and immediately determined this to be a disappearance. From the clues and evidence collected from the police, the culprit was also captured. He was a guy who dated the schoolgirl. The two met each other through social media and moved in together for a while. Because he saw her asking for a breakup, he turned his love into hatred, killed her, and buried her body in this mound of wasteland. Since that time, my shop had also become more gloomy and empty. Seeing that the business was not very good, I had to close the shop and find myself another job to do.